Hello Taurus, Sun, Moon and Rising. These are your love messages for the second half of April. Very happy birthday to those of you that will be celebrating your solar returns during this time. Yes, we are approaching Taurus season. But what does this reading hold for you? Well, the very first card that we have coming up for you as your underlying energy is the Ace of Cups. It's a beautiful card. All aces speak about the potential for a new beginning. And cups are all about emotions, so this could be the beginning of a new emotional cycle. For me, this card always talks about happiness, a chance at happiness, something that makes you happy, love, healing, even renewal. Now, at a very practical level, how does this play out in our lives? For some of you, it very simply means that you could be starting something new with someone. And yeah, that may be the case for some of you, but I feel like overall, because it's an underlying energy, it feels like Taurus, there's a renewal going on in how you love, how you want to love. If you're already in an established relationship, it could be that there's a renewal in how you connect with each other emotionally at this time. For those of you that are single or looking for love and you don't really have anyone around at the moment, this is a great sign that there is a new cycle beginning. How you connect to someone could be different now. Like the way that you want to love now is very different. And that's what the new cycle symbolizes, that you're going to be doing things differently this time. There's going to be a new kind of relationship for you. But we'll see how this card plays out with the rest of the reading. So where aces are all about new beginnings, the death card, which is at the heart of your reading, is very much about endings. The death card speaks of a transitional phase where there's transformation taking place. A lot of you may have noticed that there have been endings. Maybe your interactions with people have ended, or the way you've been doing things has ended. This doesn't always indicate an end of a relationship, but more the way things have been done, or the energies around us are changing. The death card, the energies that it represents, they are kind of slow moving though. It's a transitional phase, like I say. It's not something that just takes place at the blink of an eye, that, everything just changes overnight. It doesn't happen that way. So you may have been in this kind of energy for a while now. And yes, while it's not always easy to let go of old ways of being, of those things that we've had in our life for a while, even if they're not good, we get used to things and we get used to routines. We have habits and it can be difficult to kind of let go of those sometimes. So there is a kind of sense of loss or even grief with the death card, but it's necessary for those things that no longer serve us to leave our lives so new things can come in. There is always that sense of something new coming in with the death card. If you look at the back, right at the back on the right hand side, the sun's coming up. That signifies a new day is dawning. And especially with that Ace of Cups as an underlying energy, there is a sense of newness. So if you've been stuck in this transitional phase for a while, Taurus, that seems to be coming to an end, and that new beginning that you've been promised for a while is starting to happen. Now that new beginning, it's been kicked off by the Ace of Swords in your past. So I say this to people all the time. When you want to change something externally, the first place you have to change things is internally. Whatever we change internally, that gets expressed outward, and then the things external to us, they do change. It may take a while and it can be frustrating when we've changed, because there's always that phase where you've changed, but that change hasn't fully being translated into the external world. So that time can be frustrating, but you have the Ace of Swords here, and that's again another ace. So new beginning, but in the way that you think this time. Swords are all about our beliefs, our thoughts, and how we communicate them. Now, maybe that this death energy that's been around you, that's what's caused you to think differently, that's been changing you. And a lot of people have been going through that because of the retrogrades that we're experiencing at this time. That's what they do. They force us to look back over things, to learn the lessons of the experiences that we've had. So Taurus, you've been speaking your truth, or even if you haven't been speaking it, you're very much clear on what your truth is right now. I love the way this person kind of holds up the sword. It's a very kind of confident move. And the Ace of Swords does also represent victory, that this path, this way of thinking, this kind of clarity of thought that you have, that is going to lead you to victory. Also, when the Ace of Swords comes up, I always find that there's truth there. There's truth to be had. So maybe you've found clarity within a situation, maybe within a relationship or with someone else, some truths were revealed to you. Those can also not be easy sometimes. Again, the death energy, but ultimately they do fulfill you because they do help you to move forward. It's always better to have all the facts, right? Even if we don't like them, it helps us to assess the situation better and to move forward from there. So where are you right now? Well, you have the Two of Pentacles in your present. That's a card very much, well, twos can be about choices, making choices, deciding what to do. And the Two of Pentacles does speak about having to make choices, but kind of very practical choices. You're juggling two pentacles. You're trying to keep those pentacles up in the air. And it's always interesting to me that behind this man, you see the sea, and it looks kind of very violent. And the sea represents our emotions. So you may be trying to ignore kind of difficult emotions. You have your back to them right now because you're trying to remain focused on what it is that you want, on the balance that you're trying to maintain. This could be internal balance. This could be externally within a situation. The only kind of advice I do give to people when the Two of Pentacles shows up is that don't become so focused on what the problem is, on that you're trying to solve, the balance that you're trying to keep, that you don't see what's going on in the bigger picture. That's not to say that it's easy to keep those pentacles up in the air, because it isn't. Any kind of juggling act, it involves some kind of focus. It involves some kind of attention to that situation. And yeah, we may have to block out emotions that don't serve us, like this man is doing. But there is this kind of very strong energy of maintaining balance. And that continues with the next two cards that come up too, but I'll get to those in just a moment. I just want to say the Ace of Cups does sit above this Two of Pentacles. So I do feel, I'm getting to Taurus that you've been doing so much work. There's so much work that's gone in here. You have that death energy around you, but that can be difficult when you've got so many changes going on. And sometimes they can be like very internal, deep changes that are almost imperceptible. I mean, sometimes if we can see the change, we can acknowledge it and say, yeah, this is the change that's taken place. It's not always easy, but we can at least put a label on it and understand it. Sometimes we can just have a sense that things are changing, but we're not sure what it is. And that can be more frustrating. Like I said, you are keeping that balance. And whatever you're doing, it's great because you have that Ace of Cups energy coming in. It is leading you to happiness and fulfillment. Like you're doing something that makes you happy, or you're moving on that path to happiness. So I guess keep up the good work, Taurus, is what I'd say there. And this energy of choices and deciding what you want, it continues with the Lovers card in the future. The Lovers, at its very core, speaks of a choice in love. I know I say this every single time, but to me personally, just the way that I am, I don't see the Lovers card as a real choice, because it's a choice between your head and your heart, or between two different things. And I always feel like the message of the Lovers card, because I think all the cards, they have advice for us. They're not just there to tell us what will be, because nothing is guaranteed. No future is written in stone. The cards are there to advise us and to help us to make the most of the energy, the options that we have, so we can exercise our own free will. So I always say, when the Lovers card comes up, why would you not follow what you love? And I feel like even though it's a choice, you can't really make the wrong decision here. As long as you really look at how you're feeling and what you love, you're going to make the choice that is best for you. I mean, follow your own highest intuition when it comes to this choice. Now, a couple of things about this. So we have the Lovers card and you're being asked to make a choice, but you have the Death card sitting above it. And that's a card of change and transformation. When you make that choice, or when you decide what it is that you want in your love life, be sure to be very much in the moment, as in right now. What do you want right now? What do you love right now? Because I'm pretty certain with that Death card there that the things that you thought you wanted or that you used to want, those might not hold so true for you now. If you've always wanted to be with a certain person, do you still really want to be with that person, or has that dream just been there for so long that you've gotten used to it? If you've always wanted a certain kind of relationship, do you still want that kind of relationship? Now, if you do, some of you may do, and that's brilliant, because what it will do is you will reconfirm for yourself what your dream is. You will have gone over it freshly and thought, you know what, I still want this, and I'm going to recommit to this even more than I have done in the past. Well, for others of you, they will have changed. You will want something different. And that's perfect too, because, you know, whatever it is that you want, as long as you really, truly want it. So many times you see people, they manifest things that they don't even want. They think they want them, and then that person comes into their life and they're like, I don't think I want this anymore. You know, it's that sense. And I've seen this so much during this retrograde season. This is what's been happening. What we want from relationships, what we want in love, what we just want full stop has changed for so many people. Or even if it hasn't changed, there's been so much more clarity that's come to it. Now, if you look at that top row, it's very interesting that you have change in the middle. You have that Death card representing change. And on either side, balancing it out, you have that new emotional beginning with the Ace of Cups, and you have that new way of thinking with the Ace of Swords. The cups representing the heart, the swords representing the head. And that's very much the Lovers card. That's the choice there between your head and your heart. What have you learned? What are you learning about yourself emotionally, in the way that you think, in what you think that you want, you know, how your head works, the logic behind things. What do you want there? What's changed, and what new cycles are you ready to begin? Now, the energy that I feel that takes us into the future, and it's usually what we end the month on, is the crowning energy. And you have the Six of Pentacles here. This is how we bring about those things that we want. How do we manifest? And the Six of Pentacles is a card of balance. So if you look at that whole bottom row, where the top row represents change, endings, and new beginnings, the bottom row is all about balance. You have the Two of Pentacles, where he's juggling the pentacles and bringing balance. You have the Lovers, where you've got a choice and you're restoring balance to a situation by making a choice, by picking that which you love. And then finally, you have the Six of Pentacles, and that's a card of give and take, restoring balance to a situation. I always see it in a love reading where if we've given too much in the past, some of us have taken too much, but if you've given too much, it's like give and take in relationships. Looking at relationship patterns, what do we give? Who do we give it to? Are they worthy of us? And that's a very interesting question to ask yourself, especially as you are Taurus, and especially as we are going into Taurus season, where the question is very much going to be, what am I worth? We've just discovered who we are in Aries season. Now it's about, what am I worth? If this is who I am, I know who I am now. What am I worth? Who is worthy of my love? How am I going to give that love to someone? And what do I expect back in return for that love? And that kind of Ace of Swords energy that sits right above this card, and which is what you've been through. You've got clarity on this now, so you will know. And I think you're very clear, Taurus, on what it is that you will and will not do in relationships. But yeah, if nothing else, you have that Ace of Cups and you have the Lovers card in this reading. They're two very great cards to get in a love reading. One talking about new beginnings and the other one about choices. And I think it's great that we do understand that we have choices, because a lot of the time we feel like we don't. That we feel like life kind of happens to us. And even when I get questions for personal readings, and sometimes they're like, oh, will this happen? And I think, don't just wait for life to happen to you. Understand that you can have choices. Some of the choices aren't great, but the Lovers card, it's good. It is good here. And it feels like you're making choices from the ground up, with that Two of Pentacles, very grounded, very kind of practical decisions having to be made, to the Lovers, which is kind of lofty, and it's a major arcana card, so it talks about major changes within our love life. So what advice do the Oracle cards have for you? Well, the first card that we have coming up for you from the Romance Angels is Retreat. And it says, it's time to disconnect from the world. This doesn't mean that you kind of seclude yourself and kind of go off by yourself somewhere. If we look at the card, there's a couple walking off in this card together. So, it could be you and your partner needing to spend time together, or you and anyone, another person that you're having to spend time together just to connect with each other. But I feel, looking at the rest of your reading, there may be a time during this kind of end of April phase where you do take that step back, and it doesn't have to be physically, it could be internally as well. Internally, you take that step back, and it's going to be you looking at what you've gone through with that Ace of Swords, what you've learned about what you think and what your beliefs are in love. And also, I think it's what I was saying about the Two of Pentacles, that, you may have become so focused on trying to retain balance in a situation, trying to make things work somewhere, that you want to take that step back and have a look at the bigger picture and think, okay, so what do I want to do with this? Do I want to carry on kind of juggling these pentacles, or am I going to do something different? And that's where that choice from the Lovers comes in. And then the advice that we have from the Whispers of Love Oracle is number 10, treasure your loved ones. It's important to love others deeply. Yes, that kind of love and emotional kind of fulfillment, that is represented by the Ace of Cups. But I feel this card really ties in with that Six of Pentacles energy. If we look at that man in that card, he is giving those pentacles away, those coins away to those two people. Pentacles represent anything that we hold of value. It can be money, it can be investments and things, but it can be anything of value to us. So it feels like you are becoming very certain on those people that you do love, what you love. It could be in a relationship, it could be someone that you really treasure in your relationship, or it can be the opposite. You realize that the people that you're with or that are in your love life right now, it can expand out to friends and family as well. But you're going to know the value of people and who is worth your time and who isn't, who is worth your love and who isn't. And those people that are worth it, it tells you to treasure them, treasure those loved ones, and be treasured yourself. Let them love you as well. We have that Six of Pentacles. That's balance. That's give and take.